Jennifer Lopez just canceled her entire summer tour. Tickets will now be refunded. This comes on the heels of everyone wondering if she has broken up with Ben Affleck. They were recently seen holding hands at his daughter's graduation events, but things look tense. And now a source is implying that it's because she's jealous of Jennifer Garner. This is about to get more intense, because not only has J.Lo made a statement that just proves how much she's jealous from Ben Affleck's ex Jennifer Garner, she's also covering up the main reason for the cancellation of her event. So stay tuned as we uncover everything that's going on between this weird Hollywood love triangle. When J.Lo canceled her tour, everyone was thinking she did it because she couldn't get enough sales. But while this might be true to some extent, J.Lo has just revealed that she canceled her tour to spend more time with her family. This is huge as this statement came out amidst the rumors of Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck breaking up. I think this just shows that Jennifer Lopez still wants to try and save this marriage, whereas Ben Affleck is frequently seen hanging out with his ex-wife Jennifer Garner and their kids. You can watch the full breakdown of what's going on between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner lately on our channel, link in description. We know that Ben is living separately from J.Lo and is visiting Garner and kids to hang out with them, and J.Lo is not liking this as she told Ben to stop meeting Jennifer Garner and don't share their private matters. She made it clear to him that she doesn't want Jennifer Garner anywhere near her husband. Ben, of course, being Ben, still decided to go hang out with his kids and ex anyways despite J.Lo's warning, and this led to Ben and J.Lo splitting up and living separately. There was also a report that they're going to sell their dream house in L.A. The dream house in question costs around $60 million, and most importantly, it's the house they spent 2 years finding and building. And selling something like this house, which is a definitive proof of your love, definitely raises some questions. But now it seems that J.Lo wants to give their relationship another chance by canceling her tour and spending more time with her family so they can sort out their issues. It's crazy because I actually just finished watching This Is Me Now, and I'm prepping a big video where I'm gonna break down all the clips, and I'm glad I watched it. So you don't have to, because it's a hard watch. It really does show the real J.Lo, but not in the way she thinks. It's so revealing, so telling, and now seeing the massive failure that it actually was when she talks about in this documentary thinking she's making Purple Rain. And she made a flop. She made another giggly. Basically, every time Affleck and Jennifer Lopez get together, they make a giggly. They should never ever do things together on film. I'm going to break that down for you soon, but there's so much to report on before I do that. The documentary really does show Ben Affleck as this guy who is just more private and J.Lo is more public. Even in that documentary, there's a moment where Ben's like, look, I had to change myself because I realized, I'm not going to be on social media. To J.Lo, that's like telling a fisherman, we can't talk about water. Clearly, it's part of her DNA, and so he has to be more comfortable with being a part of her life, just like she should be part of his life. He justifies it in that way, but there's so much justification in projecting. The reality is, I think J.Lo is a massive narcissist. She talks about her father being a narcissist, her mother was a narcissist, her father was a workaholic, and she tries to use that as an excuse as that's who she surrounds herself with, but fails to realize that's actually who she is, a workaholic narcissist. That's what she's become, and she's blaming others rather than taking accountability. So when I see her canceling the tour to spend time with family, I actually applaud it because I think she needs to. This big thing that she invested in and tried to make a big deal out of was a massive flop, and she does need to take time. All the reactions on TikTok should be a wake-up call to her that she's not as popular as she thinks. She's too much of a diva and not talented enough to be justified as such a diva, and she's had a lot of bad fan interactions. She needs to snap out of it and be more open, thankful, and present when she's with her fans. That's just my 2 cents. There are so many moments out there where you can see her interact with these fans, and I just feel like she's quite rude. But anyway, to see her cancel her full tour is a big deal. It comes through a newsletter she sent out to fans saying, "Special message. Please know that I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel that it was absolutely necessary. I promise I will make it up to you, and we will be together again soon. I love you all so much." Until next time, tickets will be refunded. If you bought from a third-party site, good luck. It may make more sense as to why things were looking so tense at their recent reunions at this graduation. Even TMZ remarked on the fact that this was just a few snaps. They had some PDA and were holding hands. But this specific interaction does seem to imply that it's still tense between them. Now, as a family event, both their families are there together, with J.Lo's kid and Ben's kid. There's a lot going on with the paparazzi, but again, it doesn't look perfect. No relationship is ever perfect. There are always bad days. Maybe we caught it, but they left separately and then went and stayed at their separate houses after this event. So what does that tell you? Now, this article also comes from sources, and honestly, it would make a little bit of sense. I'm curious what you guys think of this. Is this crossing a line? Is the mother of his kid allowed to be friends with his ex? Apparently, J-Lo hates when Ben Affleck seeks advice from ex-wife Jennifer Garner. Is this justified, or is J-Lo again trying to control too much? Everyone knows that Ben and Jen remain close after the divorce. He confides in Jen about everything, even his issues with J-Lo. An insider told In Touch exclusively that J-Lo hates that Ben goes back to his sensible, down-to-earth ex-wife for advice and emotional support. She doesn't want Jen's input. Apparently, J-Lo didn't come around to tell Jen to back off, but both women have been down this road before and know their boundaries. However, she did tell Ben that his ex needs to stay away from him and butt out of their personal drama. Ben relayed that message to Jen, but I'm also pretty sure that probably didn't go through very well because it is the mother of his children. She has been there for him, and they are clearly trying to have a good relationship. I support that. If you have kids with a partner, you have to be amicable, kind, and supportive for the sake of the children. But yeah, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, she's really worried about him. Jen would never tell Ben, "I know I told you it would work out," but she doesn't blame J-Lo for the pressure she's been putting Ben under. She sees how Ben struggles with keeping up with J-Lo's very public lifestyle, and Jen can't stand by and do nothing. It's not in her nature. She's dropped everything to make sure Ben doesn't spiral out of control again. At the end of the day, Ben is still the father of her children, and she will help him however she can. She's worried he's going to fall back into destructive behaviors of substance abuse, gambling, etc. Now, is that fair? Is that nice of her? Or is that an overstep? Is that J-Lo's issue right now? And should they be working on it together as a couple? Now look, the pressure for J-Lo is only mounting. There was also this report that I believe was part of it. She got a Las Vegas residency she was considering, but now that's also been put on hold. So maybe she positioned it like, I'll cancel the summer tour, which is a huge loss monetarily, and then maybe she'll be able to reactivate the Vegas residency later instead of going on tour. But will people care either way? Do people care about J-Lo anymore? That's the real issue. Is canceling the tour because she's been heartsick, which I believe she is? I'm sure she enjoyed seeing her fans, going out to work, and making money. I can't doubt that about her. I don't really dislike this woman, but, after watching her documentary, that's not true. I don't like her after watching this documentary. At the same time, I can empathize with some of it, but she's dug this hole herself. This Is Me was just oversaturation point, and I'll show you soon in the video, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. She's warned by multiple people close to her. She's warned by the studios themselves. Everybody's telling her, Ben Affleck included, that this is a bad idea. She put too much out there. She thought she would be like Taylor Swift. But clearly she ain't no Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift said no to appearing in the doc. She's filming everything as if she's making this epic big thing that just completely flopped. Both the album and the movie. It's like a movie, documentary, and album all at the same time, and no one wanted any of it. If she'd made maybe just one thing, it might have been interesting, but instead, this trifecta, assuming that we cared so much, was her downfall. But that's the problem with J-Lo. She has the diva complex. It's gotten so out of hand that knowing the diva complex and then seeing that she actually went and said, yeah, I gotta cancel this tour, this is a huge L that she has to take. Not only were ticket sales bad, but she actually had to cancel outright. And so rather than doing that, yes, it makes sense that she's going to be heartsick and want to spend time with the family. I do believe there's a part of it that's true. I'm sure, given all this stuff happening with Ben and potentially the breakup or trying to keep it going, the last thing she needs right now is to go on tour. So both things could be true. But if she actually had these stadiums filled, you bet your butt she would have went to her tour no matter family drama, Ben, or anyone for that matter. That's why I don't believe this. It's gotta be a combo of bad ticket sales and now family drama. Let's use the family drama ticket for it all. She's dropping this news on a Friday, which is exactly the best time for a celebrity to try to do a news dump. So it should have been released, not talked about as much, and then when Monday comes around, new news pushes it away. What a plan! Very calculated as usual, but it's a lot. She's about to lose it all, and I know a lot of people have been hating on her on TikTok. I don't hate her that much. I don't like her. I'm not a huge fan. I think she's too much of a diva, and I think her fans have shown the mirror on how she needs to treat her fans, which is with more respect and more presence. There are so many moments in the documentary that made me uncomfortable and frustrated, showing who the true J-Lo is, and it was very off-putting. She doesn't see it. She thinks she's just, a big artistic diva, but the reality is she does need this reality check. I hope this reality check allows her to ground herself in a way that helps her moving forward. I mean, she did it to herself, but she could have just had a support system around her. She pays for a lot of friends, but she has some friends, clearly some big names, people who were those to help her out in the doc. And I'm sure they'll help her now, especially if things with Ben end up the way they are. But could this all be a way to try to make sure she doesn't lose him and put the relationship at risk? Honestly, maybe. It's hard for me to tell. One thing I will credit her on, there's one moment where she breaks down about the pressure. And yeah, I think anybody who works a lot for their family can relate to that. I still am on the fence about how much I believe it. But there was one point in the doc where I did give her some empathy. Look, I don't wish somebody to lose their whole tour, their brand, everything just because they're dumb and rude. It's intense. Do you think she deserves it? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Before you go, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for alerts, smash that like button, and let us know what you think honestly. She really does need to speak up. I think at this point she tries to paint herself as this victim in the documentary. But J-Lo, you didn't really admit any of your faults or admit to the bad things that you did. You just put the blame on everybody else and painted yourself as this artistic hero. You didn't really open up in the way you should have. Instead, you revealed too much, which was a little gloating and ended up making you look worse. Your friends and the studios that warned you were right. You did make a mistake. You talked about the fact that it could be a disaster. Well, now it is. Now it's really affecting the bottom line, and that's not good for the J-Lo brand. But Hollywood forgives. People forgive. Could she bounce back? I think she will. We'll keep you posted. Do you want her to? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more here on Goja Gossip.